Hello and welcome back to Dragon's Dogma 2. So today, pretty obvious what we're doing. We're going to be going forwards through here and seeing what's going off with this phaser guy.
What is it? Has something happened? You ought at least rest for the evening. There should be a spare bed in the lodgings yonder. Only don't go rushing off before you're ready. Take it from me. You're better off resting while you have the chance.
Now, that is, I was going to say, I was looking at the map and I was thinking, is there an inn here or is it just like a story area? Or something, you know, just like a area created for this basically bit to happen. But right, let's have a look. Is this the inn? No. I'll be honest, I don't see it. Where was he pointing to? Is that it? I know it was a stone building.
This place gives me an ill feeling.
I've got to get home.
Polishing my armor can wait till the morn.
Because I definitely should go to the inn if the game is literally telling me to. That's usually a bad sign. A extremely bad sign.
My bed holds. Danger air slithers where we least expect it.
Every minute I'd not linger here.
Time to be heading home.
No, I don't see it. Okay. Maybe there's maybe if we go up here and take a right, maybe.
Well met, sir. How's the day treating you then?
Ah.
Much excitement is rarely.
Okay, what have we got? Yeah, yep, examine, okay. I'll be honest, I can't remember as to whether or not I went to the inn at the end of the last one or not, when we got here. But,
Pardon if my hospitality is a bit lacking, sir. My duties tending to the excavation tools take up most of my time. But if you seek a bed and you've the coin, 'tis yours. No questions asked.
We must
Right.
rest, though the sun is still up.
let's go. We'll wake up in the morning, and now we can be absolutely certain that we definitely have a
Now
save
for
here.
them to tackle the day ahead.
Off we go then. Ready to forge on?
Well met, sir.
Looks like there's
How's the day
people with
treating you then?
selling some other odds and ends here. So potions if we need them. But as you'd probably expect, given that it's only a little camp, no like weapons and armor smiths or anything.
All this work puts
Right.
Not sure
So we probably want to get on then. Let's see what we've got then. Let's see what's down here. What's all the fuss been about?
As soon as my shift's done,
I'm honestly guessing that he's going to try and take control of a dragon. It's going to then wake up, eat him, and then we're probably going to have to just like... Of course. Now, what do we have here?
A contraption of some kind. I know not what to make of it. How shall we proceed, Arisen?
Your fate is ours to share. And whether ill or boon awaits, the experience shall be no less valuable to us.
Right. Well, we'll see where this leads. Or is this bridge gonna collapse and all?
Well now, I'm a lucky man. Thought I was waiting here for naught. But when someone finally does come along, 'tis you. I've always wanted a real fight with you. One on one. Here's my chance.
Except we're not a melee character.
Back on me, are you, Sir Arisen?
It is Sir Ragnar, Master. We've not had a whisper of the man's if he parted ways at the cave yet.
This will take a while, won't it?
He seems to desire a bout. You ought to fight him alone. We shall await here. Best of luck to you.
Ow.
A fool's errand this. Ugh. You're not present in this battle. You're not here for me. Well, so be it. My contract only bade me deliver my employer to the tower. I sought to battle you to the death entirely of my own accord. But I can't enjoy it. Not like this. So go. And when next we meet, we'll settle this properly.
Sir Ragnar has let us pass. I suppose we ought to consider ourselves fortunate.
I'm guessing that that's because we sided with him earlier, perhaps. Maybe.
Make use of it at once.
Or maybe this is one of those non-decision decisions where it doesn't matter. Right. Seem to be getting a few of these all heals lately. Doesn't lead to anything back here, does it? Just making sure there can always be hidden chests about. And so on. Right. Okay, do I have to still like poke this before? Just to make sure that it's active in that. Oh no, it's like a big one, that isn't it? Where it lets you search for things.
Ears, and methinks I ought to share it. 'Tis said there is an illness spores can contract beyond the rift that inflicts unspeakable harm on those around them.
Dragon, heed my call. Your will is mine to command. Curses. This arrival of the true Arisen is most inopportune. Sovereign of Vermin, the ritual must not be disturbed. Let not the Arisen approach. You can manage that, I trust.
'Tis of vital import that we have a word with Lord Phases. The Pretender need not be present.
Okay, let's have a look. quests, legacy. Okay. We don't necessarily need the other Arisen around, so we just need a little chat with the big guy.
Prepare yourself.
We should be hitting these with lightning because there's a number of them, isn't there?
You have my protection.
Well, the lightning's definitely going to work.
Your efforts are for naught, Arisen. Now, simply watch as this world's hollow and fruitless order is remade by my hand. The ritual is complete. The dragon comes. Behold! The Royce Dragon! By my power, the Dogma of Dragons is unmade. You could ne'er understand, Arisen. We must all be freed from the vulgar order wherein the dragon's existence determines all.
Well. Oh. Yeah, I don't think the dragon's happy about this.
Cursed, Arisen. You've doomed us all to the cycle. And you...
Greetings, Arisen. Hast thou summoned the resolution to face me? Then answer me this. Why dost thou fight? Is it to reclaim thy flesh, thy stolen heart? Or is it to reclaim thy throne? I offer thee a choice. Grant unto me this life in my claws, and be gone from this place. Or stand and fight. Pitiable Arisen. The time for thou to make thy choice is come. Show me the path thou wouldst walk. Go, and thou shalt live to claim thy coveted throne. Fight and thy life is forfeit. Thou wilt face the dragon's dogma.
Well, we might as well give it a go and see if we can take him. We can always load at the end.
Intriguing. This then is thy must fulfill our charges. I, as the dragon, and thou as the Arisen. Climb upon me. We shall depart for our true battlefield. Thou wishest to dismantle the world's will, just as I do. Yet dost thou know what awaiteth the world, should it meet such a fate? 'Twould become a fleeting, fragile, vacuous thing, bereft of the cycle. Naught would be born into its safe chaos, great and terrible. Surviving in such a world would be no simple matter. The world shall not change with my death, nor shall it change with thine. Consider the result. How it is thou came to be. How have the once closed paths before me come to be breathed? Think well, Arisen, but rest not. I will know thine answer through the strength of thy will. Thou shalt cut a swathe through the false benevolence enshrouding this world. Arisen, pitiable soul tossed by the winds of fate. Wilt thou slay me, or be slain? I know not how this story endeth. For the outcome was determined in a time before reckoning. And yet, Arisen, born of a hapless faith though it may be, perchance 'tis thy will, and thine alone, that couldst contest the great will of this world.
Ooh, looks like we're going in.
Thou art too late. The hour is upon us. We must decide a victor, and in so doing, form a link in the chain that bindeth this wheel. Tell me, Arisen, what is thy desire? Is it to slay the dragon, my living darkness? Dost thou merely seek conflict with a mighty foe?
Oh, I've got some
Be sure
ballistas
to
around.
express the right word.
Right. So it would seem that this, basically from what I'm able to tell of it, this phase guy has basically tried to create like his own control dragons that he could use to fight the dragon. But obviously and pretty clearly, yeah, those ain't got anything on the real dragon. It's all fake. They can't emulate the true power of the dragon. Fair enough. Right, let's get on another ballista, see what we can do with these. Where'd it go? Oh, hello.
So here we are. The fate of battle is upon us.
But yeah, so basically that first guy we're trying to create, so he's been the one behind all those weird fake dragons with view bones and crap on them. And they've all been attempts to try and create other dragons to fight the real one. To bring about like lesser drakes that he could control and probably send at this in a great swarm to attack him or something, I don't know.
I will protect you.
There.
Fire and breath and strike when it recovers.
Ah, yes, now I see.
This is not doing very much. Yep, not doing a whole lot. I think until it lands we can probably still be using this, though. But yeah, it's...
Strike the exposed heart.
I'm honestly still kind of curious as to like what this choice means. Like what's the difference between, oh, I want to reclaim my heart and I want to reclaim my throat?
The dragon's magics are fierce and mighty. Take care
Honestly,
they
I'd
do not
rather
catch
have
you
both.
unawares.
Is both an option? We probably want to shift. Yeah, it takes a bit too long to dismount, really, doesn't it? Honestly, just shooting like this kind of does as much as the ballista at this point.
You'll not live to regret this.
Especially when it's like all the pawns get on the ballista as well. It's like, yeah, I don't really need you on that. I'd rather have you pinning him down and holding his attention, but... Plus it means I can actually dodge his magic, which is always useful.
You are in need of healing. Allow me. Wait right there.
Unfortunately, since we're
We must meet
still
first
trying to level up
lands
Archer,
that lay bare
magic
its
Archer that is,
Maybe we can try climbing onto its back.
yeah, unfortunately because of that, this is probably going to be a boring fight. It's going to be a bit dull, but let's see what happens here.
Torched. Quick, douse the flames.
Maybe I should be able to, yep, clear
Avoid
that
its
off.
onslaught and strike the moment an opportunity presents itself.
There's a big ballista up there. I think one of the pawns mentioned I have to climb up on his back, and that wasn't even aimed at me. Yeah, so I'll have to climb on his back and somehow get onto there. If I want to use the big ballista, which I'd like to.
Now thou wilt witness my true strength.
The aftermath. Prime
Right.
chance to counter-attack.
At last, it all becomes clear. Now, Master, give no quarter.
if I climb on,
You'll only exhaust yourself with people like that.
can I get on his back?
The dragon's magics are fierce and mighty. Take care they do not catch you unawares.
No quarrel here.
Take me to that ballista. This won't work. Oh, I saw it though. That could probably be easily thrown here, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Art thou content?
I shall draw its focus.
Probably why we faced that Colossus before this. Yeah, I think just the try and true, don't screw about trying to get to the big ballista, just go straight for. I think the heart's concealed there, isn't it? Let's try and. Yeah, we can't really get a good shot on him, just go for his head then.
Unexpected mercy.
Yeah, the try and true, hit him until dead sort of method is probably the way to go here. Right.
Too slow.
Okay.
Leave this to me. I'll
He's
distract
already half dead.
My curative magics are at your disposal. Wait a moment.
Oh. Run. Right, can we get a good shot on this now? While I'm here. Oh, it's open.
Hard while it's exposed.
Oh, it would land in an awkward position where we can't really get at it, wouldn't we? That little raise in the rocks there is giving it a bit of a shield. Right.
I shall draw its focus.
Let's see then, what we're gonna do. It's... I think it's probably gonna come exposed in a sec. I think it typically does after it's done a number of breath attacks, so...
Mastermacht Rykon.
I wonder if you can like tag different body parts with these spark chain things, yeah.
Not like to survive. Its magics are unscathed. Watch for them carefully and avoid them as best you can.
Understood.
Leave this to me. I'll distract it.
I shan't let them harm you. I shall draw its focus.
What the hell was that?
How content
Oh, the healer's dead. Was that a new spell that he used? I get the feeling it was.
Forgive me for being a burden, Arisen.
I'm guessing the lightning isn't gonna really do much, is it? I knew the drakes were using lightning, so it made sense that they would be immune to it, but he only uses fire, doesn't he? From what I can see.
What is our calling? We've got to find victory here.
We will prevail!
I'll distract it. Be sure to give its breath a wide berth. Evade it carefully and watch the motion of the strike. I shall draw its focus.
Oh, crap.
A feeble attempt. Is this the son of thy might? Ram Gatho Friga.
Did we die? Did we die from fire while stood in her healing thing? Crap.
I'll distract it. Now, Hunter, give no quarter. Focus your attacks on its pulse. Stilling its pulse is no mean feat, but it can be done. Now, while the heart is exposed.
Right. We're nearly there. Down to the last health bar.
His breath is terrifyingly destructive.
The aftermath. Right chance. Counter-attack. Really? Now?
Is this that ability again? Is it going to fire off a load of... That loads of magic bolts, isn't it, that get fired off that we need to watch out for? Well, there's a quarter down on the final health bar. Definitely doesn't have long for this world. Okay.
Not far to go now. Keep your focus.
I've not seen him use that spell again with the multiple like foaming fire bolts or whatever, so that's good, but I think we are just going to be able to just kind of repeatedly hit him in the chest with with a bow, and we're probably just going to be able to kind of cheese one. Right. Not even the pawns are that phased by it. Surely this isn't the ending, right? Or is it? So it is. Yeah. We'll see.
unending cycle. All is preordained. Even my death at thine hands. Yet perhaps thy will is great enough to put an end to it.
I think his vocation rank's gonna go up. Those are credits. I'm gonna have to check after this what the other choice would do and see what the... If there's like a true ending, we might have to go for that then. So I guess we got his throne back. Is that it? Are the rest of the credits gonna come up? Well, there we go. We are king. Let's go take a seat. Oh, there's the guy. The shadowy dude who just turns up. I feel like this isn't like the true ending or something. I'm gonna have to figure out like what it actually is. Do we get anything else? Or is that it? Can I skip the credits? Can I talk to anyone? Oh no. The true ending is that you're tortured by having to sit on the throne. Forever. No. Well, you can't do anything. Ah. Maybe if I like leave, it will skip the credits. Is there a skip credits button? Can I press start? No. Flex? No. I'm gonna get over here and these doors are gonna be painted on, aren't they? I'm not gonna be allowed to leave. We'll find out. No, that does skip them, I think. Or maybe it just... yeah. Peace. Became the sovereign of Vernworth. Okay. You start a game with current level and equipment. Right, let me just check. What about different endings? Right, and I've looked it up. I've just like very quickly had a look at the endings and roughly how you get them, and yeah, that is apparently the default true good ending. Which makes me wonder, because I know that we've missed content. I know there's a Sphinx somewhere. There's apparently, like... Apparently, Lord Phasis was not meant to be in the clutches of the dragon. If you've, like, gone and romanced someone, it should, they should be in his clutches for some reason. I don't know why, but, yeah. So we're supposed to get a deal where... we're supposed to have a love interest. Basically just didn't bother with those the entire game. It's like, who is this rando person that I don't care about? There's apparently some sort of love interest. Why are you doing this game, you know? I mean, Skyrim did a better job of love interests with, like, Lydia, and all they did is just, like, make her follow you around for a while. And that's the problem. You can't really get attached to anyone who's not present. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, as usual, so the game's over. I'm gonna have a little ramble on about it now. If you're only here for the gameplay, then by all means. I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you in future videos and series on the channel. Thank you very much for watching. For those of you wondering what my thoughts on the game are, I would say it's a bit of a diamond in the rough. Like, the game is honestly... And the problem is, it's purely design decisions. The only performance issue I've had is in Checkpoint Rest Town. Vermund is a bit... not Vermund, sorry, Vernworth. I keep mixing up the kingdom and the capital names. But Vernworth is a bit laggy at times, especially in the Royal Quarter. Whereas Checkpoint Rest Town is a horrible buggy mess that breaks the frame rate of my PC. Don't know why. And it's very weird how it does it, but yeah. Only performance issues I've really had. My main issues with the game, I would say, because it's disappointing to see, is this, because it's... Dragon's Dogma does a lot of things right, and I'll quickly go over the things that it does very right, because there are some really great things. Like, first of all, the combat. The setting up of, like, these awesome dynamic moments, and yeah, they do kind of force the issue sometimes. Like, hey, we're just going to put this Cyclops next to this gap so that he falls and makes a bridge, and it's way more likely to do that when you spawn them in at these areas. You know, it's definitely been done deliberately. You know, they clearly set up that ancient battlefield with the ballistas on the ruins that you have to go through the undead to get there. And the dragon's fighting an armoured Cyclops in the middle. Well, the Drake, sorry, is fighting an armoured Cyclops in the middle, so that it's nice and distracted so you can actually get up there and actually use those things. So that's pretty good. It does do a bit of setting that sort of stuff up, but it's nice having the ability to knock enemies around, to be able to have those interactions and be able to climb on them, do all that sort of stuff. Absolutely excellent. Honestly, that and the actual moves and abilities you have in combat, the combat alone is practically S tier amazing. You know, it's really good, really solid. But then they've gone and handicapped it by only giving you 4 abilities. It's like, here's all the cool toys that you can play with, and then we're going to let you pick 4. But I'll get into the bad things that it does in a moment. But the actual combat itself is absolutely amazing. The abilities are really fun to use, highly effective. But just the normal moveset, and just slapping them around and shooting them with ballistas and throwing them off balance and knocking them off a cliff and stuff is highly satisfying. There's a good amount of enemy variety. There could be a bit more. It is getting a bit long in the tooth by the end, because it's like, okay, let's be honest, there's, you know, slightly different lizards. You know, okay, they haven't got spears now, but they're, you know, shoot magma at you and roll around. Oh look, it's, you know, goblins that do sneak attacks, and they're called choppers now. And now there's knackers, which are bigger goblins and slightly tougher and have a bit of armor. You know, it's okay, but they are all just basically goblins. You know, it's like when you go against an enemy in a game, you go on like Fallout or something like that, and it's like, this is not just a raider. This is a psycho raider or something, you know. This is the psycho raider bandit chief. He has 10 whole levels of extra raider in him, you know. Or you go on Skyrim and it's not just, oh, this is not just any dragon, this is now a legendary dragon, and therefore his health pools triple the size with triple the damage or something stupid. It feels a bit like that at times, and there's way more ogres and cyclopses than there are much else. Like, we know that there's other monsters in the game, we face them, but like minotaurs show up now and then. You get the occasional drake. I feel like there needs to be a few more of the larger monsters. What else? But otherwise, it's not bad. It gets a bit long in the tooth because the game is so long. But the other things it does well, the pawn system is amazing. I like being able to just like pick out a roster of characters and that, and customize them and set them out how you like. It's really good. Honestly, would have preferred co-op, but yeah, the pawn system is pretty neat. Other than that, yeah, the character customization, I mean, usually you'd have to get a game from like South Korea or something to get this level of character customization, and it is highly important that you have good character customization in an RPG. A lot of them don't do it. I honestly don't know why. It is stupid that they don't do it. They should all have excellent character customization. If they want you to get attached to your character, and this character is meant to be a representation of you in this game world, then you should be able to have a highly customizable character. Because if you don't, then it's like, well, how are you supposed to get that invested in them? You know? Lots of RPGs fail when it comes to the character customizer. Dragon's Dogma is not one of them, thankfully. It's very good. I mean, there's a prologue episode to this entire series where I spent like an hour and a half in the character creator making my character and my pawn. Honestly, just absolutely excellent. Brilliant job on that. Pretty much exactly what I would want. So I will give them that. The problems with it and where it goes wrong, I think. Oh, and another thing that it does right though, the game world is fantastic. I'll just put that out there. Like, it looks great. It's great to travel through. There's a lot of stuff around, a lot of little interactions and things to go and pick up and loot and stuff. Excellent game world. That said, the issues that it has, and what's really heartbreaking is that all these issues are design flaws. It's things that they just did wrong. They just thought, ooh, how are we going to do this? Oh, let's do it this way, and they chose wrong. And that's basically it. It's, okay, the vocation system, I mentioned that. So you level up your vocation, you get it to level 9, so I started, I'm a level 9 fighter, amazing, fantastic. And then what? I mean, if I change vocation, I go back to level 1, I only have so many abilities. It's actually a downgrade, plus I have to repurchase any equipment that's no longer suitable for my vocation. So I literally downgrade my character, have to go and grind up a few more levels again, repurchase thousands upon thousands of gold worth of equipment, right? And what for? Is warrior, like in my case, was warrior any different from a fighter? Was it better? Was it worse? Was it... Not really, no. I would point out that I think the starting classes as a whole are a bit weaker than the advanced classes. So, you know, it's not a complete, like, okay, it's not, there is a reason to move, being that you can become a slightly more powerful class, but really it's mostly a side grade, so you can just try out a different fighting style. But it feels pointless and unnecessary. You know, I would have been just as happy going through the entire game with a sword and shield than swapping to a two-hander. I would have been just as happy with two-hander and not having gone into Magic Archer. So it doesn't feel like there was any real reason to do it. Now you get to the very end and it's like, oh look, here comes the Warfarer. Oh, this is going to be great. We're going to have all these skills and weapons, and then you can wear any equipment, and wearing any equipment is a really nice boon, but the actual weapons you can still only equip 4, well, not even 4, because you need one of your skills to be attached to swapping between those weapons. So you don't get... you still... What's happened now is you now have to carry additional weapons about, which is added weight, in order to be able to use multiple skills from those vocations, and you just kind of left there going, okay, but I only get 3 skills that have to come from 2 vocation sets now. So as I said earlier, when you've got, you know, here's a big box of toys, you can pick 4 of them. Well, no, now here's an even bigger box of toys, because you can have any skill from any vocation, do what you like, except you've now got, in all that, at the end, you've only got 3 slots, and even more choice. It's so backwards. I honestly thought what would happen is you would load each weapon up with different skills and swap between those. I honestly would have, if it were me, I would have made it so that you would swap between weapons, and yeah, each one on the Warfarer should have its own skill slots. So you swap to the big Warhammer, and you should be able to slot 3 different skills in there. What would be even smarter would be to instead put the change weapon thing onto, say, the sheath weapon. What if instead of sheathing your weapon, it swapped to the next one and the next one, and then when you got through all of them it would sheath your weapon, or maybe if you held it, it would sheath your weapon, but if you press it, it just swaps between them. Or it could bring a weapon wheel up or something. I feel like they could probably do this. And then you could have 4 skills on each weapon and carry as many weapons as your weight capacity allows. You know, so running around with, okay, I've got, you know, 6 weapons, all the skills. And then the vocation system would make perfect sense, because changing vocations and swapping around would no longer be a side grade. This is all preparation in your training to become the true hero at the end, who has every weapon, every ability, complete flexibility in taking on a target, and suddenly it would all come together. Because a lot of RPGs, they tend to, like, you look at Skyrim for example, which is what I'll primarily be comparing this to, it will allow you to Skyrim will allow you to basically focus in on one thing, like, oh, I'm going to be an archer. Yeah, okay, you put all your points into archery and stuff, but usually by the end of the game you've had enough points that you can kind of branch off a little bit into other things. Maybe you'll upgrade your healing magic a little bit, and maybe you'll go into sneak attacks and become, you know, the typical stealth archer. Or how I usually do it is I'll go sword and shield on Skyrim, but then I'll go into like armor and enchanting and be able to make really powerful armor to complement that, and then I might go a little bit into archery just so that I can take down a target from afar if I need to. So okay, so you kind of branch out a bit as you become more powerful. You kind of master one thing, then become alright in a few others. That's typically what happens, but with Dragon's Dogma it's like, no, you become really good at one thing, and then you can become really good at all. You can become really good at all the things, but you can only be one of them at once. And that's another thing as well that annoys me. The warfare was a massive missed opportunity. But as well as that, when you pick a vocation, apart from that one, you are locked into, you have to have these weapons, this equipment, you can't use other stuff. I can't be a sword and shield warrior, but be able to have like a bow on me to deal with harpies. Apparently, when I've got a sword and shield, my guy just forgets how bows work, apparently. You know, it feels like it's trying to stick to these defined roles and like these cliched trope fantasy roles too rigidly, and it doesn't allow for any kind of flexibility. Which is alright in, say, like a party RPG where you're managing all different characters and that, and you kind of feel like it's trying to do that with the pawn system. But in the end, this is a single player RPG, and I should be allowed to use and do whatever I want at any given time. You know, just, yeah. It also removes a bit of the realism from the world in that, you know, you can't wear that. Why? Because. What? What? Oh, it's daft. Location system aside, the other big, massive miss is the save system. If you remember, if you've watched through, then from the very start you'll have known that at one point we lost the save. I lost 10.5 hours worth of progress. Thankfully, because I knew what I'm doing, it only took me 5 then to recoup that lost progress. But yeah, apparently when it says an in save, it means in. It doesn't just... I assumed it just meant whenever you rest. I thought that was the whole point of camping. It's like, oh, I'm making permanent saves. And I reloaded a save at one point, because I was doing the missions in the palace where you sneak around. Got caught, reloaded the save, thinking, oh well, I slept just before I entered the city, I'll be fine. It reloaded the save where you do the tutorial for sleeping at an inn, and of course doing that tutorial causes you to level up. So it reloaded it, I leveled up to level 2, it instantaneously auto-saved. Absolute garbage. Absolutely, a save system like that, and also not having multiple characters. Like right now, what I actually want to do here is I want to probably start a new game plus on a separate save, so that if I want to load this one up and try for different endings, I can. Not what we're gonna have happen. Not what's gonna happen. Because you only get one character save and one main pawn. It is utterly ridiculous that that happens. Absolutely ridiculous. No idea as to why. Just genuinely baffled by why they've done this. And any idiot would be able to see that this is obviously going to lead to people losing saves and time. So you would know this. You'd go into this knowing that it could do that, and they went ahead and did it anyway. God knows why. Save systems are a standard now. Well, you know, multiple saves and things. I think the idea was this whole, like, make your choices permanent, but the game isn't good enough to do that. Firstly, it's not really a game about making important decisions and choices and making your actions permanent, I don't think it really matters. Furthermore, it's just a case of, yeah, the game bugs out too much to really do that. Like, you can just get stuck on the terrain, you can just have your pawns randomly thrown off cliffs. And that's another thing. I mean, literally some of the enemies are placed on cliffs to specifically do that. Harpies being the the primary obvious candidate here, that they literally hang around at cliffs with the intention of throwing you off, and they often get pawns. Yeah. Reminds me, escort quests, hot garbage, they shouldn't be in the game. I would straight up say remove those, just get rid of them. They are awful, awful quests, and they're terribly designed. They reward bugger all, they should just be removed. Fast travel. It's just like the ox cart system I really like. It's a cool immersive way of doing fast travel. There should be more routes, I think. Honestly, I think there should be an ox cart station going from every town to the capital. Yeah, every town and village, every sort of area like that should have an ox cart that goes to the capital. And then from the capital you should be able to wait and go on an ox cart to basically any of the towns and villages. This whole port crystal thing, not a big fan, especially when the ferry stones are stupid expensive. It's like, right, I can fast travel, 3 times or buy a new piece of equipment. And it gives the game this feeling of, I mean, first of all, there's the microtransaction problem. Like, microtransactions like that I'm not that fussed over, but when they've deliberately hindered the fast travel system, and then they will sell you the item that allows you to fast travel. Yeah. That feels like money grubbing, that one. That's the one that I would have a big grievance with, in terms of the little DLCs they're selling. The other stuff, not that big of a problem. I dislike that you cannot go into character creator without a token that you have to buy from them. That's a bit like, really? I've not tried these things that much, so maybe I'm misunderstanding, but if it is the case, then it's very grimy that they've done that. And not just that, but them making you walk around, and they often do this where it's like, okay, now just go back to the other end of the earth to talk to this one person, then come back over here, and then go over there, like, and the different, and things like different smithing styles, like you can get different styles of smithing from different people, depending what you want on your equipment, but you have to travel across the bloody map to do it. Which is why I didn't get that invested in equipment and smithing things, because it's like, yeah, I don't want to buy the wrong thing and smith the wrong thing and end up wasting money, and so I end up just holding on to my money and waiting until I get the warfare, and I'm like, okay, this is my final gear I'm gonna get, which I didn't even get to that point before the end of the game, and then I was gonna go and get it all smithed. And can you imagine going to the smith and being like, right, what do I need to level this up? And then them just going, oh, yes, you don't have materials. Here's a shopping list, bugger off and come back when you've found those. Wonderful. I could see that happening, me. It's a bit stupid. The whole thing, like a lot of the stuff in the game, I didn't get involved in upgrading and making equipment better because it would require me to go to all the different shops and then compare them all and do all this. And what I'll probably do, if I do come back to it and decide I'm going to do a new game plus or something, I'll probably finally max out Magic Archer, put Warfare on, and then just like follow a build or something online, because I'm not going to go around to all the shops and smiths and like mark down what all the differences could be and all that lark. It's just a faff. But all of this adds to the feeling that they're trying to make you wander around in the wilderness way too much. Like, there's way too much walking, and you can't help but feel like it's trying to pad out the game. And that's my gripe with that. The fast travel and stuff, it could have been done a lot better. I feel like they've done it deliberately for this, to make you buy fairy stones and to pad out the game. Which, it's not that bad because the combat is great, and when you're going to face all these monsters along the way, you know, griffins and things like that. Yeah. And that's another point, I've still not come across another gargoyle since that one at the tutorial. Like, there must be shit that I've missed. I'm sure certain spawns must just not be on the roads, there must be like set dungeons and locations that I've not visited really. But, and I would say that with the main quest, it's pretty good at the start, but then it goes into all these random stealth missions when the game doesn't have a stealth system. It's like, why are there stealth missions in a game where there isn't a stealth mechanic? Don't do this. Like, don't. If you don't have a system and you don't want to focus on your weaknesses, focus on your strengths, and make a section about, you know, fighting monsters instead. The first few quests that were just culinary quests, honestly, I would have rather have done a dozen of those than have done those stealth missions. It would have been more fun. But in addition, the quests for the start of the game in Vermund had you going all across Vermund, which was quite nice. You were going across Vermund, and it made you explore a lot of different locations. I came out of there feeling like I had properly explored most of Vermund. But in Batal, I feel like I've barely touched on it. Especially with those rope lifts taking you everywhere. I feel like there should have been more quests that kind of sent you out to the fringes and things of it, so that you would be more likely to explore the entirety of Batal and the volcanic isle and things. I feel like those areas only got touched upon. Another point that I will make out, you look at things like Skyrim and Fallout. In fact, I'll go over Fallout because I know, well, Skyrim and Fallout, you look at those, yeah. Skyrim, you start at Helgen, you go all the way through to Riverwood, through a cave and that. Big, nice opening sequence. Slowly making your way over to Whiterun. Eventually you'll get sent to the, I forget the name of it, but that barrow where the golden dragon claw is. And you'll go through there. And you can follow the quests as you go through. Like, after that you go through to Iverstead. At the throat of the world, you go up through there. And while you're there, you might end up going across over to Riften, perhaps, just to, you know, go to another city. But basically, a lot, and Fallout does the same thing, where, you know, on the way to Diamond City, it literally litters the road with stuff for you to encounter. Because this is the thing with those games, and Dragon's Dogma, it happens here, but they've not capitalised on it. You can tell the route that a player is going to take in the game world because you know what order the quests are going to be given in. And what you would typically do is litter those routes with unique encounters that maybe only happen once in the entire game, and then never again perhaps. But you would litter those routes with encounters appropriate for the level at which you'll think they'll be approaching that quest. And you can do this fairly reliably. Most people are just going to go as the bird flies, they'll take the shortest route. So, you can put along those paths different encounters, different monsters that would be appropriate for that level, and then have them going across the land to explore pretty much all the major locations, and put cool stuff along the way for them that's appropriate. And it's a really good way of doing world design that Bethesda used that. And they don't seem to have done it here. They seem to have just kind of, especially when you get to the second half of the game, they just send you to Batal and then you just kind of derp around and just talk to people, and it doesn't really send you out to explore and come across cool encounters. You feel like you just get booted out and told to, yeah, just go and kill a drake. I didn't even get like an audience with their queen that they supposedly love so much. I feel like the main quest hasn't guided me through the entire game world and told me, you know, all the things, and it's like, I feel like the main quest should kind of shepherd you along past everything to give you the opportunity to stop and smell the roses, so to speak, you know. That's what it should really do. Like, maybe part of the main quest will be to get introduced to the queen when you get to Batal, and maybe she would give you a side mission, and then it would open up like an optional side quest and a whole quest chain perhaps that you could go into that wasn't the main quest, but it would be your choice. No, it just kind of shepherds you past and doesn't really acknowledge anything. Like, I don't know if there is a quest line with that or anything. Like, I've not encountered the Sphinx. I know there's a Sphinx in the game. I've seen it in the previews and things like that, but I've not encountered them. Did the main quest shepherd me along toward their location? Nope. Don't know why. All that said, yeah. So that's my issues with the fast travel and the quest design and things, and the story, by the way, is kind of dismal. It feels like it's building up to something. You're like, oh my god, this Lord Face is going to try and control the dragon, then it's going to kill him and run amok, and it'll be our job to, you know, go and stop it. We'll probably have to do something with this Sphinx and this God's Blade. And no, I've looked up the endings. That is the ending. It just ends there. You know, there's this big build up. You feel like you get into third act, and it just kind of, you know, collapses dead. Suddenly the game is just like, ending, done. You feel like they couldn't afford to do the proper ending or something. I feel like there were another, you know, 3 or 4 hours left in that, where it had, you know, we'd see Face get killed by the dragon, and we'd have to go and reclaim Vermund. You know, we'd have to run away and claim the Vermundian throne and ready our defences and fight him at the gates, and fight him at the gates of Vernworth, and have like blisters and catapults firing at him. And you'd think that's why they'd put those things in, and there'd be this huge battle, and all knights would be fighting like goblins, and, well, actually they're probably like those little lizards or something, as they go through streets as the dragon arrives, and there'd be some kind of big finale. No, you just kind of go into like a volcanic area and fight the dragon, and he's not that tough. He's just like a big drake. In fact, he doesn't even have the lightning powers. He just like throws like fireballs and things. He's not that good. If I were to do it again, I could probably do it without wake stones. Hell, if I went and finished leveling up the magic archer, got the warfarer, leveled that up, got some good equipment and smithed it properly, I could probably do it without dying. But yeah, so that's the thing though, isn't it, with Dragon's Dogma? It's like, yes, I feel like the ending, it feels a bit empty to me, that. And I've checked, it's the canon good ending, that one. There is another ending. Apparently, if you talk to that spectral guy at the coronation, he can give you the option to do a different ending where you get your God's Blade thing. Spoilers if you want to go and like look this up quick, or find, you know, see this true ending for yourself. Right, we're good. So you stab the dragon. No, you stab yourself, sorry, in the heart with that Godsway blade. You both plunge into the ocean. Well, I say you stab your heart, you stab where your heart was. You and the dragon plummet into the ocean. You wake up and the world has entered an apocalyptic state. And I don't know if it's a cutscene or if you actually go and do little side quests where you go and evacuate places and stuff like that. And then the dragon shows up and you have this big fight, and there's a cutscene where you're both falling through the sky and you land on him and stab him in his heart now with the Godsway blade. and it kills him, and apparently doing it that way ends the cycle. God knows why when we were killing the dragon ourselves we couldn't just run up there and give him a jab with it, but no, apparently you have to do it that way, and the world just reverts to how it was before any of this happened, like it was some kind of dream. Except now the dragon doesn't show up, and the world has broken free of the cycle of the dragon and such. That's like the true ending, apparently. But yeah, again, it seems to be. Oh, and if you walk away, by the way, you just get a bad ending. It's just like, yep, King of Vermund. That's it. Then no dragon fight. But yeah, it's like I said, the game does a lot right, but the things it does wrong are purely by choice. Its quests could have had a better story. They could have taken you past more important locations so that you'd more naturally discover them, that you wouldn't miss content. That they could have chosen to do fast travel differently. They could have chosen to make the vocations different. Honestly, the vocation system was literally like, it's like 99% there. The warfare just needs changing so that you can have multiple abilities on each weapon. And if that were the case, that would then, like I say, it would make sense, because then all of the vocations you've been leveling up and swapping between all games suddenly aren't pointless, because you've now got Warfarer, and you can have loads of those skills and everything, and it's now like it's finally going, okay, now you get to play with all the toys in the toy box. And it would have honestly saved the entire, like, the entire vocation leveling system right there. But yeah, it's, as I say, it's very much a game where for everything it does right, it does something very wrong, and the things that it does wrong are just bad design decisions, really dumb ones in many cases. And you think, why did they do it like that? There is a 10 out of 10 game in here. In fact, I would go and say it's even more than that. It's like an 11 out of 10 genre-defining masterpiece that's then got like a bunch of chains, like just balls and chains and ankle weights and things just tying it down. It's just tethered to the floor and it just can't get anywhere. It's like a 7 or 8 out of 10. It is being massively held back by these... Again, like for example, why are there stealth missions when there isn't a stealth mechanic? You can't even crouch. It's like, what are we doing? That's so stupid. Just so utterly dumb. And it baffles me, these decisions that they've made. And another one as well, like the co-op. Why not? Because you know what? The original game was beaten that year by Skyrim releasing, and it kinda went under the radar a bit and became a bit of a cult hit, but never really saw massive success because Skyrim released the same year. This time it's had nothing else on the calendar, there's no competition for it, it's been over a decade since Skyrim, and honestly, Skyrim with mods would probably be better than this. And you've got to say at that point, it's like, come on, you made this mess. And one thing as well, Skyrim, people said that should have had co-op. They even modded it in. And you look at this and you go, why didn't you? Why did they allow you to carry up to 4 pawns with you? But there well, up to 3 pawns to make a 4 character party. But they won't allow co-op. Absolutely baffling. I don't know why they would do that. Just it's just stupid, honestly. Anyway, that's my take on it. It's got issues. There's probably other issues that I've forgotten. It's got a lot of them. And but it's all around a game with absolutely amazing combat, with fantastic character customization, with really really good core systems, that looks graphically fantastic, that has an amazing world that you want to explore. But then you just, I don't know, all those issues just hold it back. I've had fun though. I've had a lot of fun, apart from that bit where I had to replay 10 hours worth of it, but it's been good. I would probably come back to it if it gets a bunch of updates and mods maybe, and I can have multiple characters, and maybe I can have some new weapons and there's more enemy variety, things like that. I wouldn't mind it. Definitely could do with that. I'd like to see a third one, but I think if they're going to continue with this, they really have to take a look at what went wrong here. Like, you can't make such a good game then screw it over with these bad decisions, because yeah, if they did this again, I don't think they'd get a fourth. I think they can get a third game from this off the back of it, and I think it could be quite good. But I think if they wanted to make a fourth Dragon's Dogma, then the third one would have to literally look at this, remove all the crap that they did, and absolutely nail it. Because that's what it's going to have to take to prevent it from just dropping off a cliff, basically. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Dragon's Dogma. Dragon's Dogma 2, that is. Again, another weird thing. Like, there's no 2 on the title screen here. I don't know why. Anyway, there'll be more on the channel. I believe coming up on the channel, there should be let's see, at the time this releases, because I have played the hell out of this over some time off I had, and I've probably got like a month or so of these pre-recorded as a result. Basically binged this over a week. I'm thinking that probably by the time this is finishing, Stellar Blade will have started and will probably still be on Infinity Siege Outpost. So they're available on the channel if you want to watch. I'm guessing that Pacific Drive will have probably finished by now, but there's plenty on the channel. I do a lot of different games, so there's probably something to your taste on there. Give it a look, give it a subscribe if you've enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again. I'll see you then.